Hello everyone, thanks for joining in. Today I just wanted to do a little video about how I approach learning new styles of locks. There's been a few locks I've been working on recently that I have no experience with. So most recently I've been working with this Multilock. I've been working with a Medico and a Sledge Primus. And so I figured people might be interested in how I've learned how to do or how I'm teaching myself some of these more complicated locks. So I won't be doing any picking today. I'll do more of some explanations of my approach to problem solving these picks or these different locks. So for the first one, I'm going to talk about this Medico. Then I'm going to move on to I'm going to start with this multi-lock. Then I'm going to move on to a Medico, and then I'll talk about the PackLock Pro, which probably more people are interested in, but that will be towards the end since that is more of a standard lock. But the same will kind of hold true for this whole kind of conversation here. So the first one, like I said, is this multi-lock. I've been working on this, trying to figure out how to deal with this because it's something I've never dealt with, which is a dimple lock. So for those that aren't familiar, the key looks a lot like this here. So there's these little dimples, and these pins are stacked on top of each other. So each pin has actually two pins inside of it. So these require some different tools and techniques that I'm not familiar with. So how I've taught myself to do this is I bought this training lock, and I've started off with just one pin. So I'll show the pin and tray. I'm not going to pull this completely apart, but so it's a 5-pin lock, and you can see I'm now on pin 3. So what this means is I removed all the pins except for one and kind of got the feel for that. Then I moved on to 2 pins, 3 pins, and so forth. So at this point, just for conversation, I guess I have done 5 on accident a couple of times. I've gotten very proficient at the 3, so I'm just kind of working my way up. I've also, part of the kit that I got included some security pins. So you can see there's some serrated and some spool pins, so I can change that out as I get better and better with this type of lock. So that's how I've done this. Moving on, another lock that I'm currently working on, you can see all these cylinders are filled up, is the Medico. And so for those that aren't familiar, just quickly, each pin has a correct orientation. So you can see all these teeth are in different angles. So you have to get the angle right, and then you have to get the height right, like you would on a normal lock. So for this, I just removed everything but pin 1, and then I added pin 2, pin 3, pin 4, pin 5, and pin 6. Now in this lock, I'm getting pretty good, but because I kind of know what this lock is, I've gutted it a few times, so I kind of have an unfair advantage. For this lock, I actually bought another one that can't be taken apart. So this is a different Medico lock. You can see that the key still it's a little bit shorter key, but again, all the pins are in a different location or different orientation. So I have no idea what's really going on in this lock. So I'm going to have to use what I learned in the larger lock here to then apply that to this smaller Medico, but using the same techniques and only using feel as opposed to knowing what I'm looking at. So that's how I learned the Medico, or I guess I'm still learning the Medico, but how I'm getting better at it. And then the last 2 locks I'll talk about are my 2 pack locks here. So I got this first pack lock. This is the 90A Pro, and I did the same thing on this one. I pinned myself 1 through 7. I think it's a 7-pin lock, and just added one at a time until I got that feel and understanding of how to deal with that many pins. But I didn't want to just stop there, so I got the 410 Pro Lotto lock. So this one you cannot take apart. It's a plastic lock, plastic housing. So again, I had to apply the methods and the feeling and the techniques that I learned in the 90A and apply it to the 410. So that's just been how I've taught myself to deal with some of these more complicated locks that I wasn't familiar with early on. But you can apply this technique to really any type of lock that you can take apart, because you can just kind of build that skill set up, adding one pin at a time and just building your confidence. So I would say that if you want to practice deadbolts or anything like that, the same techniques can apply. If you want to do an American 1100, learning serrated pins, you could do that one at a time as well. So you can build that confidence and that repetition up and really understand what you're feeling and how that applies to each individual lock. So again, I'm not going to be picking anything today. Just wanted to give some of my tips and tricks on how my approach to solving some of these more difficult locks is, and hopefully help somebody out in the meantime. So hope everybody found something useful in this video, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Thanks.